Alright guys, how's it going? I am the Awesome Soul, and I am here with a plugin review. That's right, I don't normally do these kind of things, but I have been requested to do so by the wonderful administrative team over here at Encraption.com, the home of the Playerheads plugin. Or well, the birthplace of it, because Miskim here created it, which is pretty awesome. So, I'll be here doing a quick overview, but fairly detailed overview of what this plugin is capable of for both players and administrators. So first off, I'll start off with the configuration options. Obviously, these are more so for the administrative team and the back end of the plugin. However, I figured it's probably good to go over it. So, it's fairly in-depth what you can do, but I'll start out with player kill only, or PK only. This will allow player heads to only drop if players actually get a kill on another player, rather than them, saying, drowning or falling off a cliff. That'll get rid of abuse, where like they can go loot their own corpse for their head, and then sell it to like other players or whatever. Anyways, drop rate. Obviously, it's going to change the chance that a player's head drops when they die. Looting rate, which is a really awesome feature. Say if you have the looting enchantment on a sword, or any weapon for that matter, it will actually increase the percentage of you getting a head. So that's really awesome. So, players will try and get the looting enchantment more. Mob PK only, like PK only. It makes sure that mobs only drop heads when players kill them, rather than them dropping off a cliff or what have you. That'll end the abuse of mob grinders, for example. Mob drop rate, up next, sets the unique drop rates for each mob in the game. So that means every single type of mob is also capable of dropping head. Even mobs that don't necessarily have the quote-unquote vanilla heads, like the zombies or the creepers. Like you can have a blaze head, you can have a spider head, and so on. Fixed case. So, when spawning or renaming heads, the game will attempt to change the input to make it case insensitive. So it's not probably the greatest idea, but if that's something you like, then go right ahead. Update check. Update check checks for updates on startup and sends the link to admins, like the download link. So that's fairly handy. Broadcast sends out a global message to any player, or to all players, saying that a player has been beheaded. So that's interesting if you'd say want to do like a PvP heavy server, and someone's looking for someone's head. They've put a bounty out on someone. They can be sort of sitting and waiting and saying, "Ah, yes, finally that the person I've wanted for stealing my cows has finally been taken down." Next up, we have broadcast range, which just change the range of the broadcast for when the player is killed. It'll be set to 0 by default, which will make it a unlimited range. Then we have anti-death chest. So it just basically stops other plugins from fiddling with the drop of player heads. Again, you'd have to actually look into which plugins sort of mess up with this plugin, but again, that's something you're gonna have to do on your own. Anyways, drop boring player heads is the final one, and it is definitely boring, rather than dropping these fantastic, fancy looking heads here. You're gonna get the basic boring Steve head, or whatever the default in your texture pack is. Next up, we have the commands. So if we come up here, we have 3 main commands. So again, these are just for admins, or well, they're admins for default. I guess you could give these to players if you wanted a creative server, or the creative side of a server would be good to give out these commands, as there are some heads that have like toilet paper or popcorn or, you know, that sort of stuff. So player head config, and then you can either have set config, get config, or reload config. So essentially this allows you to change anything in the config from in-game, which is a very, very handy feature to have. But I probably won't be fiddling around with that, because I wouldn't want to piss off these guys. Anyways, player head spawn is exactly what you think. That's how the actual heads come into your possession. Well, spawning them in, at least. So, if you want the pound sign, you can then get a mob head. So if you wanted a pig, for example, you could then get a pig. Although if you just typed in pig, you would get the player with the username pig. And it's not the... well, I don't know. Actually, I haven't tested that out, but it's probably just a Steve skin or an inactive account. Anyways. And then the username to give it to, and as well as the amount. You can leave these two blank, optionally, and just give yourself the head. And then player head rename will rename whatever you have in your hand to, or whatever head you have in your hand, to a different head. So, to finish off the video, I will just give a quick demonstration on the spawning and renaming of heads. So, if you go player head, spawn, and then say I want my head, so I go Awesome Soul, and then I want to give it to Awesome Soul, and I want 2 heads because 2 heads are better than 1. Anyways, I now have 2 heads in my inventory. But wait, I don't want these heads. What if I wanted a blaze, for example? So that's easy. I go / player head rename, and then go pound blaze. So again, as I said before, the hashtag or pound or whatever you want to call it will give you the actual mob rather than the username. If it was just blaze, it would give you the player blaze rather than the mob blaze. So there you have it. I now have 2 blaze heads instead of my lowly boring head. So anyways, guys, hopefully you've learned a lot about this plugin. If it's something interesting to you, go check the link below, and I will provide a link to where to actually get the plugin. Or if you're watching it on the plugin page already, I don't know, why not come on over to my channel, check out my content. I don't normally do Minecraft, but mostly do other games. But I usually hang out on Uncraftion from time to time. I was quite big on the server, hence why I am an admin. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been the Awesome Soul, and I will see you next time.